So it's a pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Anna Oscarsson. Anna is the co-founder of Kvittar, which is basically trying to make receipts obsolete. So she was previously a student of the entrepreneur school Kaospilotna down in Malmö, and she is also one of the initiators of Geek Girl Meetup in Öresund. So Anna will talk about building a digital infrastructure with stubbornness. So please, with a warm round of applause, welcome Anna.
Thank you. Let's see if you can hear me good. Thank you, Jesper. That was a nice introduction. It's always very fun actually to hear other people making the introduction of you. It makes it a little bit more fun to get on stage. But let's see. Well, I'm going to talk about building digital infrastructure with stubbornness. But we're going to start with a small thing. I want you to take a half minute. Just shortly think about what you would do if you would get an extra hour every day. Find out the answer, and then you turn around and say hello to someone you don't know. Tell your name and tell what you would do with that extra hour. Okay? Yeah? I give you a minute now. Okay. Let's see. I love this talk. I guess that's because all you people likes to talk a lot, and that's good. But let's see. Who said that they would socialize that extra hour? Up with your hands. Let's see. Okay, that was a couple of people. Who say that they will actually just sleep? Okay, yeah. Who say that they would be working that extra hour? Quite a lot of other entrepreneurs. And the rest of you, what will you do? Would anyone, what? Read. That's a nice one. And would any one of you actually take that extra hour to sit down and think? Some of you. Well, that's good. Because I was listening to a clip with John Cleese the other day, where he was talking about creativity. And he said that one of the actual things you need to get into the mode and to find creative solutions to problem. Not solutions, but creative solutions. Solutions that are beyond what you actually think or thought they will be, would take around at least an hour. And we're going to get back to that, but I want you to bring that with you, to actually take some extra time to think about how you're going to solve the problems you are confronted with when you're working with your ideas, your projects, your startup, or whatever you do. But let's begin. Because I'm here to talk a little bit about, I have three main topics. We're going to talk about give me my data. We're also going to explore how do we do it at Kvittar. And And when I handed over or sent it the text for the speech today, or the speech I was going to give today, our situation in the company was a little bit different. So I had to add a topic now that is, whoops, we passed our goal. And you're going to see why I did that. But let's start. And let's start back around a couple of 100 years before Christ. That's when you actually could see the first coins, or we can track back where the first coins were used as a part of the trade market. And around 300 years before Christ, they actually started to see some sort of proof when you were dealing or trading stuff on the market, some sort of receipt. At that time, in form of a stone or a big plate, so maybe not that easy to carry around, but some sort of proof of what you were actually buying. And then the market evolved, a lot of things happened. In 1984, I guess it was, the first Mac computer was released. In 1995, the first internet bank in Sweden was released. So we started to see a lot of the things going a little bit more digital on the market. And then I think it was in 2001, we had the first accounting system that was actually digital here in Sweden, or all on the net. So that was around a little bit more than 10 years ago. We saw Skatteverket, which is the Swedish tax authority, that started to, allow you to make your declarations and stuff online. I'm not quite sure about the year, but I guess it was sometime around 2007 or something. Then we had Scribe, I think they launched maybe 2 years ago. They are letting you sign agreements online. So why do I bring up all this stuff? Well, what we have seen here the last couple of years is that the people and the business are getting more and more digital, or more and more services to actually optimize your businesses. But still, they are sitting down and putting in the data from the paper in most of the time. They don't have the data digital from the beginning. So we start to think, why is this happening? Why is it so that we need to sit down every once in a while and be frustrating, taking care of all the papers and administration? Well, back in 2008, I guess it was, I was working on a project where we were in Lithuania, and I made a report, the economy report and everything, closed up the project, and then a year later, something was incorrect, so I had to go back and redo the economic report. Well, but the problem was that all the receipts in the reports was in litas. That would be totally another currency for me, and totally another language for me. So since I couldn't see the text on any of them, I couldn't really figure out what we actually spent on what. And it was in the end of the year, and at the same time I was sitting down, since some of you, I guess, are entrepreneurs working with your startup or something here, I guess you know what it's like to work in cafes and to move around from maybe each and every day, working here, working there, buying a coffee, buying a lunch, and in the end of the year or the month, if you're doing your accounting correct, or day, you will have a pile of receipts. Well, that's very nice, but it takes a hell of a lot of time to take care of all that. And the thing is that the data is digital from the beginning. It's all there out in the stores, digital for the stores, but not for me as a consumer. And that's the problem that we wanted to take care of. Because for me, it should, or I think it should be obvious, how do you say, not obviously, not finding the word in English. Let's see if I can rephrase myself. For me, it's obvious that the information that exists digital that can make my life, my work, much more efficient should be digital all the way. All the way from the store, from the restaurant, and into my accounting system. Should it be that hard? No, it can't be that hard because the data already exists. And that's where I started to work back in 2009. So I said, okay, let's solve this problem. But how are we going to do it? Well, in Sweden, we started to look at the Swedish market, and we saw that there are around 94,000 different distributors in Sweden. And that means hotels, taxis, restaurants, stores. Okay, yeah, well, that's a great potential. That's a lot of people to work with. And then we have around 70 different point of sale system. And what is happening with the point of sale system actually is that to get the data to me, digital, in the way I want it, in the way I can use it, I have to get it from the point of sale system. That means the cash machine in the bar, for example. Well, that's good. Let's see if we can get that. Who could we reach? Well, we have around 4 million business users, potential business users in Sweden, and we have around 5 million potential private users. Well, this is a great market. Let's see, if we charge them a little bit here and a little bit there, well, we're going to gain a lot of money. This is going to be nice. So I started to talk around, finding some people here and there, and we started to build a system that was going to be as easy as I walk into the store or the restaurant, I buy something as usual, I hand them over my ID, they scan my ID, and the receipt goes up to me. Everything is scattered in one place. I don't have to care about taking the paper with me. I don't have to have stomach ache in the end of the month because of the receipts that I lost, because everything is in one place and in order. Well, this is going to be great, we thought. Let's just do it. So we went out there and started to talk to those point of sale system, the ones that are selling the software, to all the stores, and they were looking at us like we were idiots. They're like, what are you going to do? Why should we have a digital receipts? They get a receipts if they want to today. I was like, yeah, but hello, everything else is digital and everything will be so efficient if it would be digital, so why not? I said, well, nobody asked for it, there is no need. And I said, well, there was no need for Facebook, but look at it today. Well, I sometimes actually say that, just to ignore, to make them a little bit, I don't know. Anyways, so we started to look at the market and they were like, well, we're not going to do this yet, and blah, 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 and here and there. So we said, okay, in 2011, we brought in 3 more guys on our team, and said, let's do it another way around then. Not as fun, but at least so we can solve the problem. Let's make people, going to move a little bit, shop their stuff as usual, upload their receipts through their phones or on the net, and then you're done, everything is in one place. Well, okay, that's okay, and that makes it still a lot easier, but it's still not as fun. Everything, no. I went back, it didn't work. The back end doesn't work. Just get me on where I was. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. No, back again, take me back again. Okay. Now you know what's coming up next. Well, so what we did was an extra service to this, just to start to get actual people into the system. So we start to say, well, we actually have some users who would actually start using the system and asking for receipts digital everywhere. But what happened? Well, when we started to work on this back in 2009, we started to talk around and trying to find all those like Skatteverket, the Swedish tax attorney, the different branch organizations in Sweden, like Svensk Näringsliv, Svensk Handel. We wanted to talk to them and try to figure out, okay, how can we do this together? How can we build this to make it easier for everyone? But they didn't want to talk to us. We said, well, let's just do it now, because it would make it so much easier, because we don't have to walk around having questions mark about everything. So we tried to make it the middle way and said, well, let's send the receipts digital as a copy, and you can print them on paper, and then we will give you time to be okay with sending them only and only digital. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had finally, after 3 years, got the meeting with the Swedish tax attorney, and they said, well, you don't have to print the paper. You can just send them digitally. And I said, okay, but that's what we have been trying to get you to talk about. And they said, yeah, we haven't said that you cannot. We were like, yeah, you have. So suddenly we end up that we had in our mind, we had as a goal that we have to make them all digitally, and suddenly we were already there. So what do you learn from that? Holding on for 3 years, trying to make it the best way we can to fit the market, to fit what the different organizations and authorities think in Sweden. Well, we ended up with some insights that I want you to take care of and take part of. The first one is you're inexperienced and stupid. When we started this, we thought, well, we are going to tell people how this is going to work. We can do the market, we know the digital market, we're going to solve this problem. Well, I'm sorry to say, we were wrong a little bit. Right in a lot of things, but some part were wrong. So we actually learned that, okay, it's good that we're trying, but maybe sometimes we should take that extra hour to actually think about what we're doing, the creative solutions. Find the right team. Today I'm working with 6 other people. They're just the best I know. Find the right people to work with. Focus on what you do. I guess I don't have to say more about that. People are stupid. I'm stupid. People are stupid. Everyone actually need the explanation. We're overflowed with data today. We're overflowed with information. You have to be very precise about what you're selling or what you want to inform or tell the person you meet. Because you can't expect them to actually know what you're doing. It always takes more time than you think. And if you estimate it, and then you make it, okay, let's see, I think it's 1 year, and then I end up with 3 or 4 years. Make sure you add some time, and a lot of time. Micro is not as cool as macro. We went down to launch our service in one store, one restaurant, or I think it was 4 stores and 1 restaurant. It's not as cool after that as it was before, I think. Make it big from the beginning. You get old very fast. We've been in the business now for 3 years. It's not the same as in the beginning. And the last of all, and this is actually a little bit embarrassing because I learned this at the Chaos Pilots. It's a half Danish school, and if you meet some Danes, you know what they're like. They're just doing it. And they told us, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. And think about that and take that with you. Take some time and find the creative solutions, and don't ask them, because people don't know what's right for them or what the best solutions are. You do, and just do it. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Great. So we'll just do 2 quick questions. So how do you actually view then the relationship between kind of the physical world and the digital world?
Well, I think it's actually about getting to words to marry. And that is not always the easiest way. But I think if you educate people and educate the people around you and the organizations around you, there is a possibility to succeed. We have succeeded in some parts, so it's just small steps now.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Do we have a question from the audience?
Somebody's saying that Twitter would make a really nice Sorry. You can't actually hear. Somebody's saying that Quitar would make a really nice complement to other systems such as EBA budgeting. Is this combining with other systems something that you've thought about in the process?
I didn't hear.
That it would make a really nice complementary system
With what
with
system?
other systems, and the one given as an example was EBA budgeting. Have you thought about how it could sit alongside other systems?
Yeah. Our vision is actually to have it integrated, or for the consumer not to go to our platform, but to actually go to the platform where they are today. If it's the internet bank, the accounting system, the budget system, I don't know, the Facebook bank in the future now, but where the consumer is. So that's what we're hoping to see in the future.
Great. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And please take a book, will you?